Music there from Mitch Gettman here on Pacific Street Blues and Americana, and a track there called Typical Fool. Mitch has a brand new album coming out, and he's got a show coming up to celebrate that on September 16th at the Slowdown downtown. And with us in the studio to talk about this new album is Mitch Gettman. Now, you've been on the show before.
Yes, I have.
How many, like, at least, this is probably your third or fourth time, I would say.
Yeah, third or fourth time.
Yeah. So, ran into you the other night at Countryside Village. That was a nice audience, a superb setting,
Beautiful
one of the best
audience.
live music settings ever.
Yeah,
I think,
it was a lovely night.
The weather was perfect. So, you've been around for a while, but some of the listeners may not be intimately familiar with your career.
Sure.
So, you're from Omaha?
Yep.
And 5 albums, 2 EPs, numerous singles?
Yes, let's see. I believe we're at 5 albums here with the new one, Tilde. 2 EPs, and a handful of one-off singles that, just songs that didn't make certain albums over the years.
Well, you're kind of going back old school because they would, like the Stones, release singles that were never on albums, like Honky Tonk Women or Street Fighting Man.
Well, yeah, it's exactly that sort of concept, even though it's not being put on a 45.
Yeah.
I still like that concept.
Okay.
I still think that some songs don't necessarily belong on the album from that time when the other songs came from.
So do you view an album kind of as an artistic statement in time? So these songs are all where I was at this moment in time, and then when the single comes out, it's just kind of, okay, I'm going in this direction?
I always have viewed it that way until this new album. So this new album is where I kind of deviate from. And so seeing it that way.
Is this kind of a concept album then, or what?
So it's
called
like
what? Tilde?
Yeah.
20 tracks in all.
Yeah, it's 20 tracks. It is a concept album, but it also isn't. Maybe it's an anti-concept album.
The unconceptual concept record.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I've already released 7 singles from the album. So I think by listening to those, people will already get an idea of how every song on the record is kind of different from the next.
Okay.
So it's not really unified by any musical concepts. And I didn't want it to be. I wanted it to be an expression of all different kinds of music that I like and like to play. And I don't really like to commit to any one genre or style and say that's what I'm going to do for the rest of my career. I'm kind of about exploring all of music. And
So you've kind of got this Prince tendency where you go in and play, if not all, the majority of the instruments on the album. Are you doing that on this record then, or?
It started that way for sure. Because I like to see it as I started recording this album in 2018, pretty much right after the release of Some Purgatory, my previous album. I was living in Denver at the time, and I just was in an apartment and had my laptop, and I had some instruments, and so I started making demos, doing most tracks DI, or recording acoustic guitar with the condenser mic in the living room or whatever. And a lot of those demos became the final versions that are on Tilde. Certain songs that I started out there, like Pitfalls Ahead and Life Outside the Lines.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're recording, so you do the demo, and then do you do the arrangement then after you've recorded a demo to try to flesh out the sound or the instrumentation?
Yeah, the arrangement always kind of comes after I've recorded the bass, drums, piano, guitar, kind of got the foundation set. Sometimes that I have the arrangement in mind as soon as the song is kind of conceived, and sometimes it happens, amidst the production.
So do you go out and have different tempos or different instrumentations, and you alter that and see which version of the song you like, or is it just, here's where I'm going, and there's one version of it, and that's the version?
I usually have a pretty good idea right off the bat of tempo and that sort of thing. But especially in the case of this album, it took me years to really figure out what certain songs were missing.
Okay.
And that, again, goes back to sort of more the arrangement. So some of the arrangements changed a lot over the years, and things were taken away or added.
So we're talking to Mitch Gettman, and he's been around for quite some time. He's an old guy. No, he's not that old, really. But he's got a brand new record out. It's called Tilde, and it's basically a double album. And he'll be celebrating the release of that album on September 16th at the Slowdown downtown. And here's a hard question. Is the world ready for a double album for Mitch Gettman?
Ooh, I think so. I think now is the time. I think... It's always been hard for me to make a short album, an album of 40, 45 minutes.
Now the Beatles would do 28-minute albums.
Yeah.
Revolver, Rubber Soul.
Yeah, I can't do that. That's not enough time to say what I'm trying to say usually.
Okay.
Not to dig on the Beatles.
No.
But the White Album was a little longer than 28 minutes.
Yeah. And then so when we take a look at the album and the finished product that's forthcoming, you say there's no concept. Is there? I mean, what ties it together? Just the fact that you wrote it and recorded it, or
every song on this record is kind of different one to the next stylistically. Okay. It's really just an unloading of every song that has been in my head 4 years that I've felt I needed to get recorded, and put out into the world.
Why don't we take a listen to the song we had agreed, which is Daily Routine.
Hello, my name's Nick Roberts. I work for the BBC. When I want to hear the best American blues, I always check out Rick Galusha's Pacific Street Blues. It's the best. He hasn't paid me to say this, honest.
You're listening to Pacific Street Blues on 89.7 The River.
New music there from Mitch Gettman for you right here on Pacific Street Blues in Americana. Of course, Mitch is a homegrown artist. He's got 5 albums out in the Omaha market, plays here regularly, and he's got a brand new record coming out called Tilde. And they're going to celebrate the release of that album on September 16th at the Slowdown downtown. And with you on the show will be Matt Whipkey. Of course, his latest album is called Gummi Soul, and then a band I'm not familiar with called The Good View.
Good View.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so did you pick the openers or?
I did, yeah.
Okay. And so you know these guys that we're seeing?
Yeah. So, of course, I know Matt Whipkey from, playing in the scene for years. Very excited to have him. And then Good View, they were formerly known as The Bots. And they're kind of a psychedelic garage rock kind of.
Well, speaking of that, you kind of have a psychedelic aspect to your influences, but you were saying the other night that you like the old music, and you had played covers from Velvet Underground and Gil Scott-Heron, Lady Day, John Coltrane and Lady Day, and some other ones. You played the Steely Dan track, which
some Steely Dan.
was really a 3-piece cover of Steely Dan. That's courage,
Peg.
my friend.
Oh, thank you. It took it. It was scary, but
yeah,
we got to challenge ourselves.
Okay, and so kind of tell us who's in the band, and again, talk a little bit about your influences and the psychedelia.
Sure. Well, I have many influences. I've been a music lover ever since I was real young, and that's why I do it myself. It's just to be a part of it, and it's just the funnest thing ever. Yeah, I do like a lot of older music. Music from the '60s, like you said, the Velvet Underground. Of course, I'm a huge Beatles fan. Psychedelic music is, of course, awesome. And
are you still a Radiohead fan?
I'm a huge Radiohead fan. Yes, always been, always will be.
Prince, I know, is
Prince. Prince is huge. I'm a big Tom Waits fan.
Wow, now that's new though, isn't it?
No, not really.
Really?
I don't think a lot of people realize that about me, but he's maybe my favorite.
Tom Waits is your favorite.
Yeah.
I would never have.
Yeah, probably.
That. Okay.
He's probably my number one if I had to pick one.
So when we talk about, because you can take some pretty hot licks on a guitar, what is there a player that you kind of modeled after or learned a lot from?
Well, Prince is one of my favorite guitar players.
Yeah, but are there
down.
any good guitar? I'm kidding. It's an ongoing joke with some friends.
What about Prince?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
We always have some fun with that one. Well, okay, so Prince is a big influence. Were there any others?
Robert Fripp, King Crimson.
Of course.
Dean Ween of the band Ween.
Okay.
Huge fan. He's definitely one of my favorites. I've always been a huge fan of The Edge, U2.
Okay.
He's probably my first, was my first guitar hero. Just what you can do with pedals and effects,
Because you kind of take Robert Fripp, who's very exact and precise, and contrast that to The Edge, who's kind of loose and he's got like a texture that hangs out there. And that's a pretty wide spectrum of soundscape, yeah.
Yeah, I like all kinds of stuff. I mean, I'm a huge Miles Davis fan. John Coltrane, same thing. It's all the same notes.
Yeah. So John McLaughlin was a big player. Mike Stern was a big player for Miles.
Yeah.
So
when I listen to jazz, though, I don't really listen to guitarists. I mean, I don't know.
Just not your thing.
I don't know. I mean, I like some Wes Montgomery.
Yeah.
But no, I guess I'm more listening to the horn players and the pianists and stuff like that. The composers, Mingus.
Yeah.
When I listen to music in general, I'm listening for composition more than anything.
Because when you say Mingus, I think of Joni Mitchell, and then I think, she just recorded with Herbie Hancock. They just performed live, I think, out in the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah.
So are you a Joni Mitchell fan?
Yeah, I love Joni Mitchell.
Yeah. What's not to love?
Yeah, I kind of found her later in my mid-20s is probably when Joni really clicked for me.
Yeah. Now, I noticed that I didn't back announce the song that we opened this segment of the show with. It's a new track. It's called As Soon as the Day Comes, It Goes By. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty unique name. Now, that song just came out, right?
Yep, that's the latest single.
Okay.
Just came out last Friday.
Does the title have special meaning? It's a bit of a tongue twister.
This one's pretty on the nose, I think, when you hear it. This one is just about, the mundaneness of everyday life. But, yeah.
Okay.
Gotta love Joni.
And so the name of the album is Tilde. Where's that coming from? I mean, we talked about what a tilde is, but maybe you should tell the audience.
Well, I'm reluctant to give away all my secrets
okay.
About my anti-concept album, but simply, tilde means title.
Okay.
But like I said, like when we were talking earlier, I have many reasons for calling it tilde, and I'm not going to give all of them away, but one of the fun ones is that one of the definitions of tilde is that it can mean approximately.
Okay.
And so if you translate that to Mitch Gettman approximately, I think that's a pretty good way of explaining this album, because every song is kind of different, and there are all these different sides of my musicianship and me as a songwriter and as a listener, and just a fan of music, trying to take all the music that I love and that's influenced me and turn it into something that's my own, that's unique, that's my contribution to the music world. This collection of songs is kind of approximately what I'm all about at this point in my musical journey.
And there's a whole lot yet to come, though.
Well, I certainly like to believe so.
Are you?
I hope this isn't. I hope that I haven't spent it with this one.
This is not the swan song.
No.
So when you're looking and listening to music, are you listening to anything now? A lot of that's beginning to influence the sound. Are you hearing new sounds and new acts and new textures that you're finding intriguing musically?
You mean like in the current music fabric? Honestly, it's kind of few and far between, and I hate to say that. Big Thief is one of my favorites that's doing it right now. Probably my favorite. They just did Maha.
Okay. And
that was the second time I've seen them. And yeah, I love everything they're doing. I think the songwriting is great. Adrienne Linker, the vocalist, the primary songwriter, as I understand it. Yeah, she has an amazing voice. She's an amazing guitar player. And they're a 4-piece band that they just really gel. And they just really know how to be a band. And you can tell they've lived it.
Okay.
And they just have that feel, that old feel.
So you've got a 3-piece band now yourself, and who's the drummer?
The drummer is Adam Stoltenberg, who has been collaborating with me for the last 10 plus years. He's done everything in my band, from guitar to keys to drums. He's a multi-instrumentalist. And yeah, we pretty much produced this whole record in his basement. And
then the bass player?
The bass player is Kevin Sullivan.
Okay. And is Kevin new then, or?
Kevin's new to my group.
Okay.
Kevin's a musician about town. I'm sure a lot of listeners probably know who Kevin is. Kevin plays with all kinds of people. Currently, he's playing with the Omaha Beat Brigade. I play with him in William Danzy's band as well. But yeah, Kevin's great. Kevin's great to have.
And then you had mentioned that you're looking forward to maybe trying to add some new sounds and players to the band.
Yeah, I am. So we're also going to be having Cole Kempke, very talented guitar player. He's going to be joining us at the album release show. And then after that, yeah, I'm looking to start jamming a little bit with some good musicians. Get some horns up there and maybe a keyboardist and some percussion and just having fun. I recently got around to the Bob Dylan Rolling Thunder review, the Scorsese doc.
Okay.
It just kind of,
I haven't seen it for 40 years.
The documentary kind of is just about their whole tour.
Okay.
And that whole era for him, after Desire, and stuff. And it kind of hit me. It's like, that's what I want to do next. Because I want to put this album out, and I want to get the band together, and I just want to play. I just want to play and play. Being in the studio, I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready
to
to start working on the stage a little more. And we had so much fun the other night at Countryside Village, and I just want to start doing that as much as possible.
So, do you plan in future shows to have a mystery woman get up and hug and dance you while you're playing? Enjoyable.
Yeah, what Rick is referring to here is the woman who came up on stage when I was playing Prince, when the band was playing Prince. I Could Never Take the Place of Your Man, which I thought was the perfect song, really, because I'm not sure what exactly her end goal was, but
she seemed to have a good time.
She had her moment.
So we're talking about a new album release from Mitch Gettman. It's an album called Tilde, and on September 16th down at the Slowdown, they'll celebrate the release of that double-length album, 20 tracks in all, along with Matt Whipkey and a band called The Good Views, which is kind of a psychedelic sort of rock sound to it.
Yeah, Good View.
Good View.
Good View. It's all right.
Okay. And so we're going to kind of close out here with a track called Midwest Melody. This is off the new album. Is there a good story behind this track?
Yeah, surely. Honestly, no, there isn't. I just think it's a really pretty song. It's probably one of my favorite songs I've ever written and recorded, using the whammy pedal. It's actually just one chord. I'm just playing an A chord in this main riff, and the pedal does all the work.